Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. In the fair city of Verona lived two noble families, the Montagues and the Capulets, who had been enemies for many years. No one remembered how the quarrel began, but the hatred grew so strong that even the servants of the two houses could not meet without fighting. One day, young Rome, son of Lord Montague, went with his friends to a grand feast at the house of the Capulets. He went not to enjoy the merriment, but because he hoped to catch a glimpse of a lady he fancied. Yet when he entered the hall, his eyes fell not on her but on a young maiden of such beauty and grace that the whole world seemed to stand still. Her name was Juliet, daughter of Lord Capulet. Romeo forgot his former fancy in a moment, and Juliet, seeing the gentle manner and kind eyes of the stranger, felt her own heart moved. They spoke only a few words, yet in that short time their souls understood each other. Each wished the meeting to last forever. Soon they learned the sorrowful truth. Romeo was a Montague and Juliet a Capulet, and their families were sworn foes. Still, love is stronger than hatred. That same night, Romeo wandered into the Capulets' garden, unable to stay away. There he saw Juliet upon her balcony, speaking softly to the moonlit air of her love for him. He stepped forward, and she was startled to see him, but her joy soon conquered her fear. They promised to be true to each other and agreed to ask Friar Lawrence, a good and wise priest, to marry them in secret. The next day, the friar united them, hoping their love might end the long quarrel between the two houses, but fate had other plans. Soon after the secret wedding, a quarrel broke out in the streets. Romeo tried to keep the peace, for he now considered the Capulets his kin. But Juliet's fiery cousin Tybalt, angry that Romeo had dared to come to the feast, challenged him. Romeo refused to fight, but his friend Mercutio, hot-tempered and loyal, took up the challenge. Mercutio was slain, and in sorrow and anger Romeo fought Tybalt and killed him. For this deed, the Prince of Verona banished Romeo. That night, before Romeo fled the city, the lovers met once more. Their parting was filled with tears, yet they hoped that time would bring better days. But trouble followed quickly. Juliet's parents, unaware of her secret marriage, wished her to wed Paris, a noble young count. Juliet refused, and her father, thinking her stubborn and ungrateful, declared she must marry Paris at once. In her distress, Juliet sought Friar Lawrence, who gave her a plan. She was to drink a potion that would make her appear dead for a short time. When she was placed in her family's tomb, Romeo would come secretly, and the two would flee away together. Juliet drank the potion, and her family, believing her dead, laid her in the tomb of the Capulets. But the message explaining the plan never reached Romeo. Instead, he heard only that Juliet was dead. In despair, he bought a deadly poison and hurried to her tomb. There he met Paris, who had come to mourn. Believing Romeo to be a villain, Paris fought him, and was slain. Romeo then entered the tomb. Seeing Juliet lying pale and still, he believed her truly gone. With a last kiss, he drank the poison and died at her side. Soon after, Juliet awoke from her deep sleep. Finding Romeo dead, she felt life had nothing more to offer. With his dagger, she ended her sorrow and joined him in death. When the families learned of the tragedy, their hearts were filled with grief and shame. Over the bodies of their beloved children, the Montagues and Capulets made peace at last, for nothing unites enemies more strongly than shared sorrow. Thus ended the tale of Romeo and Juliet, two young hearts whose pure love brought an end to an ancient hatred, though at the cost of their own lives.